Suicide is the intentional act of ending one's own life, a complex and deeply troubling phenomenon that has captivated scholars, scientists, and philosophers for centuries. Is suicide unique to humans, the species Homo sapiens? In other words, do non-human animals also commit suicide? The first inquiry pertains to whether non-human animals possess a sense of selfhood. Some evidence suggests that certain non-human primates, such as monkeys and orangutans, may exhibit self-recognition after training. However, their ability of self-awareness is still unknown. The second question revolves around the term intentional. Animals may engage in behaviors that lead to their demise, such as whales beaching themselves, yet it remains unclear whether they grasp the consequences of their actions. Furthermore, suicide differs from sacrificial behaviors observed in animal groups, where individuals take risks but do not necessarily meet fatal outcomes. Despite these considerations, scientists have yet to uncover compelling evidence of suicide in animals when defined as an intentional act of self-ending. Suicide is more prevalent than commonly acknowledged. In the United States, it ranks as the second leading cause of death among individuals aged 25 to 34 years. Its occurrence often shows familial aggregation, suggesting hereditary factors. While the self-destructive act seemingly contradicts the principles of survival and reproduction, it persists in human populations, raising questions about its evolutionary role and adaptive significance. One hypothesis posits altruistic suicide, drawing parallels to altruistic behaviors observed in the animal kingdom. Individuals may sacrifice themselves to benefit the survival of their kin group, thereby enhancing the transmission of shared genes through familial reproduction. The costly signaling hypothesis, also known as the cry for help hypothesis, proposes that individuals in distress signal their plight to the group, demanding collective action through extreme measures. The infection control hypothesis suggests that self-sacrificial acts, such as suicide, may prevent the spread of pathogens among social groups, thereby promoting the inclusive fitness of the community. It's commonly seen in ants, bees, and even mammals that individuals infected with pathogens exclude themselves from the group and die away from the colony. In humans, infections are strongly associated with mental disorders, such as schizophrenia and depression. Suicide rates in people who have a higher risk of exposure to pathogens, including health professionals, dentists, veterinarians, and farmers, are significantly higher than in people of other occupations. Suicide rates also elevate with increasing latitude, where immune function is often compromised due to vitamin D deficiency and seasonal interruption of circadian rhythms. The parasite manipulation hypothesis explores the phenomenon of parasites altering host behavior for their benefit. For example, larvae of liver fluke in ants' brains manipulate the hosts to climb to the top of the grass to get eaten by cows and sheep, which are the next hosts in their life cycle. Another example is the zombie snails. Parasites hijack snails to position them in the open. The larvae in snails' eye stalks flash colors to mimic caterpillars. Birds snip off the worm-like snails' tissues along with the larvae. Thus, the parasites continue their life cycle in new hosts. Such manipulation is also seen in mammals. For example, rodents, rats, and mice, when infected with Toxoplasma gondii, aka toxo, become fearless and even attracted to cats, which are the next host of the parasite. Humans can also be infected with toxo, a disease known as toxoplasmosis, often presenting mental disorders. The parasite is found in most suicidal individuals, drivers of fatal car crashes, and people having suicidal thoughts. In prehistoric times and even in the early 20th century in some parts of the world, humans were involved in the transmission of toxo to big cats. The preservation of self-destructive traits through natural selection raises questions about the true intentionality behind suicide. Accounts involving individuals grappling with suicidal thoughts suggest that death isn't their aspiration. It seems that forces beyond the human mind's control influence the act of suicide. Let's call them dark forces.